The next update is right around the corner, and I've got some really exciting stuff to show you. We're going to talk about why demonic star drops are better than angelic star drops. Ooh, coins. Also talk about their drop rates and explain exactly how the demonic and angelic star drops actually work. We got balance changes, we got costs and animations for all of the new skins, which are hype. And we're gonna start off with the 6 new hypercharges coming to the game. 8-Bit's hypercharge is aimbot. Now this makes 8-Bit drop a turret with a laser on it that shoots nearby enemies. And similarly to like Jesse's hypercharge turret, it keeps the buff even after 8-Bit is no longer hypercharged. And honestly, the damage is actually really good. It's a little bit less than half the damage from Jesse's regular turret, but that is surprisingly good. Now Jesse's turret will still out DPS 8-Bit's turret, especially if Jesse drops a hypercharged turret or she activates her recoil spring gadget, but this is still a very good addition to 8-Bit super. What I found to be kind of surprising is that the range is actually pretty far. It goes beyond 8-Bit's boosted area. In fact, the range is actually very similar to Jesse's turret. And while Jesse's turret isn't super accurate at long distances, it looks like 8-Bit's might be more accurate. Either way, the point is that this makes 8-Bit even better at heists where he can get additional damage against the turret, but more importantly, it's going to make it much more difficult to enemies to take out his turret without taking damage. Otis's hypercharge is a silent stunner. This makes his hypercharged supers also stun enemies for 1.5 seconds on impact. This means that they cannot move on top of not being able to activate any abilities. Now, the 1.5 second stun is just as long as the stun from Dynamite's gadget, so that you know how devastating this can actually be. Like, that's such a long stun. Also, there are some weird nuances with this ability, okay? Even after the stun, brawlers continue to be muted for the next 3 seconds. So to be clear, Otis's super normally mutes enemies for 3 seconds. This 1.5 second stun is added before the mute. So it essentially increases the mute duration by 50%, which is huge. A 4.5 second time that people cannot use any abilities. Surprisingly though, unlike every other stun in the game that I'm aware of, which will interrupt an enemy action, like a Frank is winding up his super or Carl is actively using his super, normally those brawlers would get stunned and stop doing it. Otis's stun does not interrupt enemies' attacks that are currently active. So really, this ability is more like a 4.5 second mute where the enemies can't move for the first 1.5 seconds. It's very interesting and very strong. Daryl's hypercharge is Barrel O Bullets. This makes his super also shoot shotgun shots around himself during the barrel roll. Now the bullets fly around him in a circle and deal 600 damage each. Honestly, I don't see this being super great when it comes to actual damage, since each enemy only gets hit by 1, maybe 2 bullets per roll. I don't know, maybe 3, I don't know. But something to keep in mind is that these spare bullets or these projectiles will actually also help recharge Daryl's super a bit, making it a bit easier for him to get another super when he's using his second roll, not his first roll. I'm still not convinced this is going to be the strongest hypercharge of the bunch, but if you like Daryl, it'll be worth getting. If not just for the additional like damage and shield that you get when he's hypercharged. Penny's hypercharge is New Lobber. Now activating her super while hypercharged will deploy a bigger turret that shoots 2 cannonballs at the same time instead of just 1. I'm not sure why they say that it's a bigger turret, because the HP of the cannon is actually the exact same, and each cannonball actually does the same amount of damage as a regular super from Penny. But firing 2 cannonballs at a time obviously means there's potential for double damage. Almost. If somebody gets hit by 2 cannonballs, they're obviously going to take damage from both of them, but the fire from the cannonball actually does not stack. And keep in mind as well that the projectile will fire to where the target is when it fires. So it won't predictively fire to hit your target. And if the target continues running on like the same path of direction, then they will be able to dodge both attacks just like normal. But doing that will actually spread the fire out a little bit further, which will give a little bit more control. With that being said though, I do still think this is going to be very strong and worth getting, because it can effectively control a larger area and make enemy movement more predictable for longer, which is honestly one of the big reasons why I love Penny's super anyway. And if they do move unpredictably, there's a very good chance they're going to get hit by 1, if not 2 cannonballs, and that is deadly. Stu's Hypercharge is Infinitro. This allows Stu to continuously use his super during his Hypercharge, which is crazy. He can literally cross the entire map with 1 Hypercharge as long as you spam it the whole time. It's like Stu's mutation from the Godzilla event, if you remember that. Now in Brawl Ball, he uses his super when he kicks the ball, so he can't use it to super kick and then keep dashing. But you can activate his Hypercharge, kick the ball like normal, and then dash back up to the ball. This was my first attempt trying it, and it wasn't pretty, but with some practice, honestly, I could see this being like absolutely super strong in Brawl Ball. Absolutely. Keep in mind though, with the Gasso Heal star power, he can fully heal with his Hypercharge, and with his Zero Drag star power, he can travel even further before the time runs out. Also, if you're curious about the weird flame trails, that's one of the demonic abilities, which we'll cover later in the video. I know that Stu normally trails fire behind him, but there's another demonic ability that trails fire for longer, and it's really strong. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to mention with Stu's Hypercharge is that it actually takes a very long time to charge. It takes 25 projectiles to hit in order for him to charge his Hypercharge, which requires 13 full ammo. So even though Stu's super has like one of the fastest charging times with just 1 ammo, his Hypercharge will likely only be used 1 or 2 times per match, very similar to other Hypercharges in the game. Ruff's Hypercharge is the goodest boy. Now his Hypercharge actually does 2 things. First of all, it increases the damage of the drop from 3,440 damage up to 4,450 damage, a little bit over 1,000 extra damage. And those numbers obviously go up if Ruff's is powered up from one of his previous supers. And in that case, he can deal 5,050 damage with just 1 blow. That is enough to one-shot 9 brawlers in the game, including brawlers like Barry, Piper, Crow, or Barley. And for reference, that's like one of Dynamite's supers, so it seriously packs a big punch. Now the second part of this is that it will actually fully charge a friendly brawler's Hypercharge when they pick it up. It doesn't actually charge their super at all, but their Hypercharge will completely fill up, and that means that when they do charge their next super, then they can have a Hypercharge super. Ruffs can even use this Hypercharge to recharge his own Hypercharge so that the next super will charge up a teammate's Hypercharge. This is honestly going to be ridiculously strong, especially when paired with brawlers like Stu or other brawlers who have really long Hypercharges to charge that can be really strong. Next up, we have Balance Change. That's right, just 1 balance change. RT can now float over water using his super. There's literally only 1 balance change this update, though there are going to be some bug fixes. There's going to be more balance changes after the Brawl Stars World Championship is over in a couple of weeks. The devs did not want to ruin the championship. Now let's go over all of the angelic and all of the demonic abilities in the game. Starting off with the demonic abilities, Conjuring Chaos. This, I think, is going to be the best demonic ability. Whenever you defeat an enemy, you will summon an imp that will chase and attack enemies. Now, a single imp really is not that big of a deal to deal with in most situations, right? But you summon an additional imp for every demonic teammate that you have on your team. So in a 3v3 match, that is a max of 3 imps summoned for every kill. And if you're playing a 5v5, there's a possibility of summoning 5 imps every time you kill someone, I think. I don't actually have enough devices to check it, but I think that's possible. If it is possible, that is insane. Keep in mind that your demonic teammates have to be alive in order to spawn multiple imps. So if they are respawning, it's like you don't have a teammate because they died. So you can't spawn an imp on their behalf. Now, even against teammates that can deal lots of splash damage, this is going to be very hard to deal with, and it is a straight up hard counter to any brawler that can't do splash damage. Next up, we have Siphon, which is a demonic ability. Siphon makes it so that when you damage enemies, it creates energy that heals you and demonic teammates. Now, the energy doesn't happen for every projectile that lands. Instead, it has a bit of a cooldown, though you still heal pretty frequently. Also, the heal will float toward your teammates, but they act like projectiles that do not splash, meaning that if an energy was headed toward you, but a teammate got in the way, it will heal them instead. So a fully healed teammate could technically ruin the heals for your team, but it honestly isn't that much to worry about, right? Each orb of energy heals 500, and this is a great ability to use when you have multiple demons on your team because you will spawn an orb of energy for every demon on your team. Now, if you're on a team with 2 angels, it'll only spawn 1 energy orb, and yes, it will heal angelic teammates if they block the heal from coming to you. Next up, we have Fury, the third demonic ability. This makes it so that whenever you damage an enemy or whenever you take damage, your movement speed increases. Now, interestingly, the speed buff starts small and then ramps up the more damage is taken or dealt. It's not instant like other modifiers in the past, but the buff also lasts a bit longer. This also only works versus enemy brawlers, not against things like the high safe or spirit war turrets or anything like that. This speed buff doesn't benefit from having other demons on your team, so it's really good if you're going to be playing with randoms. Gluttony is another demonic ability. This makes it so that whenever you defeat an enemy, you will spawn a power cube. What's great about this ability is that the power cube will spawn underneath your character rather than dropping from the opponent. So you'll easily be able to pick up the power cubes even if you snipe someone from far away. It's a very simple but good ability to have, especially if you can get lots of kills and ramp up that power throughout the whole match. Just make sure you pick up the cubes so it doesn't buff the enemy team. This is another ability that does not benefit from having other demons on your team, so it's a good one to pick when playing with randoms. Next is Demon Fire, another demonic ability. This spawns a trail of fire wherever you move. Supposedly, it also gives you a movement speed buff, at least in the description. I didn't notice that, so that might have been some sort of a typo. The trail of fire can stay on the ground for a very long time, and while one flame will only do 400 damage, the fire damage does stack, and you can deal a lot of damage if the enemies are not careful. Here you can actually see me taking out the boss in only a few seconds just by spinning on it, which is honestly really crazy. Now against the swarm bots, you can see here this is actually a good showcase to show how long the trail of fire stays on the ground. This is another buff that doesn't benefit from having multiple demons on your team, but it is still a very strong ability, especially for game modes like Hot Zone or Gem Grab, where like map control is really important, or maybe even Heist. If you're left alone on a high safe, you can just spin on it to do extra damage. Revengeance is a demonic ability. When you're defeated with this, you will deal massive damage to an enemy or to enemies that are around you. There's an initial explosion that deals 200 or 2000 damage, but then it leaves a pool on the ground that deals 800 damage per second for about 4 seconds. It's plenty easy enough to avoid for enemies, honestly, but it does force them to stay away from the location for a pretty long time. This is another ability that doesn't benefit from demonic teammates, and honestly, I think it's probably the worst ability of the bunch, unless you're someone who dies a lot, because it does happen with every single death. Now for our angelic ability, starting with Blessed Barrier. This makes it so that whenever you deal damage, you'll build up a temporary shield, which at first, it doesn't seem like that great of a shield. But the really cool thing is that if you don't take damage and continue doing damage, the shield will grow and grow every time you deal damage. At one point in this match against bots, I got the shield to over 5,000 health, which is honestly insane. This does not benefit from having an angelic teammate, so it's also a good one to use when playing with randoms. Next, we have Rebirth. Instead of being defeated, you will knock enemies back and become immune to damage for a short time. But you'll be left at 1 HP and it doesn't last very long, so you're going to be careful if you want to stay alive. Now, if you go and die after this has been activated, then you will actually die. But the ability refreshes every time you actually die, so the third time that you would have died, you'll activate this again and stay alive again. This is going to be so strong for bounty and knockout, where staying alive is really critical. Smite is a very strong angelic ability. So strong. Every few seconds, you'll fire beams of light that damage and slow enemies. The damage from a distance really is not a whole lot, but the fact that it happens all the way around you is very strong. And what's super strong here is that it will slow those enemies down too. And if you're on top of them, multiple projectiles can hit them and deal insane damage. This is going to be so strong for assassins, but it doesn't get any stronger with other angelic teammates, so it's a good one for playing with randoms. Radiant Touch is an angelic ability. This makes it so that whenever you deal damage to enemies, you will create a healing aura around you, kind of like Poco's tuning fork gadget. Now, the healing by itself isn't super strong, but it actually increases if you have more angelic teammates on your team. And, well, because of weird reasons, I actually wasn't able to get footage of multiple angel teammates on your team, but depending on how good the healing gets, I could see this being very strong with 2 other angels. Ascension is another angelic ability, and this gives you a flat movement speed buff with no strings attached. As you can see, the movement speed buff is actually very strong, even when you don't have any angel teammates on your team. But the movement speed buff gets even more more with each angelic teammate on your team. And this is another one that I could see being extremely strong with the right teammates, especially in good game modes like Brawl Ball, where movement speed is so important. Now, Seraphim is the last angelic ability. This makes it so that whenever a teammate dies, an angelic ally will spawn in their place that will go around healing you and your teammates. Now, it acts very much like Terra's Healing Shade, though it's actually quite a bit tankier. Also, multiple angelic allies can be spawned on the map, which does mean that you could technically have an army of healers to aid you and your teammates. Keeping them alive is a little bit tricky though, because they don't avoid enemies. What's really cool though is that if an angel teammate is defeated, the healing ally is even stronger. And that also happens when you die. Yes, whenever anyone dies on your team, including yourself, you'll spawn a healer, and this could be really strong with some right synergies, right? Remember that these buffs are only temporary during the Angel and Demon season, and will be playable in modes with Angels and Demons modifier. It's actually the Chaos modifier. How are you going to unlock these abilities? Now, every day, there's gonna be a coin that's gonna flip, and you will either be assigned to be an Angel, where as you come in here, things are clean and happy and beautiful. Oh, listen to that music. Or you'll be assigned to be a Demon, where there's fire and brimstone and everything is cool and kind of grungy. Listen to that music, yeah! On weekends, you'll have free will and get to choose between angels and demons. And there is a right and wrong choice, by the way, which I'll explain later. Not like philosophically. I'm talking about like one's better for progression, one's better for cosmetics, that kind of thing. I'll get to that. It's not that big of a deal, but one is better. The point is that when you become an angel or a demon, then your star drops, your daily star drops will actually change to angelic star drops or demonic star drops. Now, the time that it takes for you to open up the star drop actually determines how awesome it is. This is like the most rare one where it takes a super long time. You just hold it down, and normally they're actually pretty quick. I'm not going to get anything fancy from this because of I have everything unlocked on this dev build account, so it's going to be like, oh, 1,000 coins, but normally that would be like, oh, I got something awesome. This is a fast one. Boom. See how quickly that happens? Yeah. Now, opening up your daily star drops is actually going to unlock angelic or demonic abilities. I got 6 out of 6 angelic star drops, which means that I just unlocked Ascension, which is cool. And you actually notice that this is not like past events where I would have like gotten an ability instead of a drop. No, I got the drop and then I also got the ability. The very first time that you actually unlock one of them, you'll get an ability. So day 1, you'll get an angelic ability. Day 2, you'll get a demonic ability, or vice versa, or whatever. And then how many are required to unlock the next one actually scales up. So you need 3 for your second one, you need 6 for your third, and then 9 for your fourth, and it actually scales up a little bit harsher past that. If you want to get all of these angelic abilities, you have to get 58 angelic star drops, and if you want to get all the demonic ones, then you have to open up 58 demonic star drops. And these are just your regular daily ones that pop up right here, right? That's 116 total star drops for the 28-day long season. And since you get 3 a day, that means that that's a total of 84 drops, but that's not all that you'll get. There's gonna be 2 weekends where you'll get double star drops during the event, so that's an additional 18 drops. And at some point, I believe at the start of the season, there's going to be 1 free angelic and 1 free demonic star drop. That's a total of 104 star drops during the event, which is close to the 116 required for you to unlock all of the different abilities. But there's also going to be contests. This is going to look a little bit like glitchy a little bit, but like there's way too many tickets right here that I have, and anyways, nobody else is competing in it. What the point is here, contests are going to be a massive way for you to be able to get additional drops, both demonic and angelic. Every 3 days, you're going to have a contest like this, and there will be a bunch of people in your contest pool. Whoa, what's over here? Oh no, don't tap. As you'll see this event right here, this trio showdown, everybody in your contest will be competing against those different game modes to be able to try and get wins. You'll have a limited number of tickets. You get 5 every day. You have to spend them before the contest is over. Each contest lasts for 3 days. And the more wins that you have, the higher up this leaderboard right here you'll be. Right now, you can see I'm number 1 because I'm the only one in there. And there's going to be a total of 180 drops available from contests throughout the season. In order to get that, you would have to get first every single time, which is difficult and hard, but I can almost guarantee you somebody's going to do it. This may look a little bit complicated. The point is, use your tickets every 3 days, if not every day. Get as many wins as you possibly can and earn more drops. Also, these are entirely based off of your performance, okay? Which is very important here because you're going to want to have these demonic and angelic abilities. And you're going to want to play with teammates because, as you can see, these stack and are better if you have people who are also demons with you, or people who are also angels with you. Also, quick little thing right here. I like doing this. You can do it with the angel side too. I'm excited for somebody to come up with some sort of a song. Post it on Reddit. Maybe I'll see it. Oh, another thing to keep in mind here is that these regular star drops that are just like on the trophy road and stuff like that, or that are at the end of the season, these will not be demonic. They will not be angelic. So they won't help you get demonic or angelic abilities, and they won't benefit from all of the sweet buffs that are happening with these, because guess what? Demonic and angelic star drops are better than regular star drops. You can actually expect up to 30% more coins from angelic and demonic drops compared to regular star drops. They also have a chance of dropping 100 gems. You'll get more bling than normal, and you can expect other stuff that you can get from regular star drops like power points, gadgets, star powers, hypercharges, and new brawlers. In addition, you'll also be able to unlock angelic and demonic cosmetics, including the new skins. And yes, there is a chance of getting the new hypercharge skins, including all the color variations for Demon Mortis and Angel Edgar, which is, let's be honest, that's what we all want, right? They're pretty awesome. Now, the chances are slim, but they are good enough that some of you watching this video right now will get some of them for free. The drop rate to get any one of them is a 1 in 150. So if you're a free-to-play player, like there's a good chance. In fact, most free-to-play players that are actively doing well and are actually playing in contests and not missing out in any progression, you're going to be able to open up 150 star drops, which is pretty awesome. So that's actually going to happen for a lot of people. Now, that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed 1 in 150. It's just like what the drop rate is. And if you want a very specific color variation of one of the Edgar or Mortis hypercharged skins, the chances are actually pretty small at a 1 in 909 for you to get the exact one that you want. So keep that in mind. Now the question is, which drops are actually better, angelic or demonic star drops? Well, here is a very boring looking side-by-side chart of all the drop rates available in the boxes. Angelic drops are on the left and demonic drops are on the right. Now you'll notice that some of the drop rates are actually a little bit different between the two drops, and I've actually highlighted the difference to the right. Positive numbers or green numbers are drops that are higher for demonic drops, and the negative numbers or the red ones are lower for demonic drops. What you'll notice is that for some reason, Supercell gave all of the demonic skins a decreased drop rate compared to angelic skins, excluding the hypercharged skins. Those rates are the exact same between the two. And to make up for it, demonic drops will drop coins, free bling, XP doublers, and a few other things very slightly more often. It's not by much. The difference is less than 1%, but if you truly only care about progression, technically it is better for you to choose to be a demon on the weekends every time. It's not a big enough difference that you really need to worry about it. Honestly, I think you should just make your choice depending on whether you want Angel Edgar or Demon Mortis, but I did want to bring it up. What happens if you don't get the skin that you want during the event? Aside from the Angel Edgar and Demon Mortis hypercharged skins, all of the other Angel and Demon skins and cosmetics will be available for gems and bling after the Angel versus Demon season is over. The Angel, Edgar, and Demon Mortis skins will be very expensive if you want to just buy them specifically. During the season, there will be some angelic and demonic star drops available for purchase in the shop. If you buy all of those offers and you don't get them and their color variations, there will be a fallback offer for you to purchase them directly, but only if you buy all of those offers. So like previous hypercharged skins, these are going to be very expensive if you want to collect them all, but there is a free way for you to unlock them later on. Angel Edgar and Demon Mortis will be added to the Ultra Trophy Box starting in the December update, which I'll talk about the Trophy Box drop rates later in this video, but the drop rates are pretty slim for hypercharged skins and they will require a lot of grinding each season to unlock. Now, before I talk about the Trophy Box rewards and drop rates and stuff like that, let's briefly go over the 3 new events. Game modes. That's what I meant. Soul Collector is a new game mode. In Soul Collector, your goal is to defeat enemy brawlers, which will cause them to drop souls. Now, your goal is to be the first team to pick up 6 enemy souls, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. You have a limited amount of time to pick up the souls before it disappears, and that means that you can defend your teammates' souls before they or after they die and prevent enemies from picking them up. And it also means that you have to pick up enemy souls fairly quickly after you kill them. When the time runs out, the team with the most souls wins, and the match ends early if one of the teams successfully picks up 6 souls. It's kind of like a mixture of bounty and gem grab, which I honestly think is actually really interesting. Spirit Wars is the spiritual succession to Siege. It actually plays very differently though. The goal is to destroy the enemy turret, but it fires back and deals a lot of damage to you. To assist you, you will want to collect amulets that spawn throughout the map. You have to stay alive after picking up an amulet for a bit of time in order to safely activate it, and 3 times per match, spirit minions will spawn depending on how many amulets you've collected for each of your teams, or for each team. The more amulets your team activates, the more spirits will be summoned. And these spirits are tanky and they deal a lot of damage. If you want to make a successful push on the enemy turret, you're going to want to kill the enemy spirits and charge in with your own so that they can tank for you. I do not recommend ignoring enemy spirits and brawlers who are attacking your turret. Oftentimes, a good defense is actually more important than a solid offensive push in this type of a mode. And controlling the middle, where the amulets spawn, is very important. Trio Showdown is just like it was in the SpongeBob season, except that the SpongeBob modifiers are replaced with Angelic and Demonic Abilities. Honestly, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how differently it plays because of it. Okay, now let's talk about the trophy box drop rates. I actually did a full video talking about the trophy reset and how the trophy box is going to work. You're going to want to watch it right here, or stick around to the end of the video and I will have a video card right here to watch so that you can watch it. If you missed it, you're definitely not going to want to miss it. I just don't want to rehash old information for people who have seen it, because a lot of people have seen it because it was a really good video. The new info that I have to share are the actual drop rates for the boxes. But first, I wanted to just take a look at this diagram and point out a few different things, okay? You'll notice that the guaranteed rewards actually increases by 4 for every single box that you pick up. And every single player above 1,400 total trophies, so all of your brawlers together, their trophies combined, if you have 1,400 trophies, you will unlock the small box, and you are guaranteed 4 drops from this every single season. The big box drops 8 rewards for just 100 season trophies. That's actually not hard at all to do. The mega box is actually the most reasonable one to get. Just 15 season trophies a day will get you the mega box, and 35 trophies a day will get you the O mega box. And then if you want the ultra box, you have to push 108 trophies every single day for a 28-day season to get those 20 rewards. Now, you are guaranteed at least 1 skin in every single one of them, and the rarities are posted right here. And here is another chart that looks boring, but has all of the drop rates for all of these different boxes. Now, the drop rate for the Hypercharge skin is a 0.23% chance from one of the drops. That is a 1 in 434 chance, but you do get 20 drops from the Omega box or the Ultra box. In order for you to hit the drop rate for it, you're going to have to push those 108 trophies every single day, or get the Omega box for almost 2 years or 22 months. The legendary skin drop rates are significantly better at 0.7%. That's a 1 in 142 drops. And to hit that drop rate, you just need to push a little bit more than 7 seasons. Surprisingly, the epic and mythic skins are even more rare in the Ultra box, but I guess that makes sense because there's more options. But the most common drop for all of these is going to be free bling that you can spend on however you want to buy or spend them on. Now it is time for us to reveal all of the new skins coming to the game and reveal their costs and animations. Angel, Larry, and Laurie are going to be the November Brawl Pass skins, and their color variations will be available if you buy the Brawl Pass Plus. Demon Mortis and his color variations are the Hypercharge skin and will be available from Demonic Star Drops only.
Everything's going according to plan. Brawl against brawler, again and again. Did you get the invite, baby? Come on, we're this block boys.
Demon Otis is an epic skin and will be available from Demonic Star Drops. The rest of these demon ones are available from Demonic Star Drops unless otherwise specified.
Serious Angel Slayer. I'm gonna ring your bell. Once we solve this task, you walk with me in hell. Just about to wipe the floor with some wet kid. Teach him a lesson.
Demon Willow is an epic skin.
When all these angels show up out of nowhere, you swear, how dare think you can take me? You wrong. You're just the right age to die young.
Demon M's is an epic skin.
I'm gonna kick your butt, but if you got the guts, bring it on!
Impy Colette is an epic skin, and she is a recolor of Trixie Colette, and her animations are the same as Trixie Colette. Dark Angel Edgar and his color variations are Hypercharged skins and will be available from Angelic Star Drops.
A shooting star flies across the night sky and my heart skips a beat.
Angel Max is an epic skin and will be available from Angelic Star Drops, and so are these other Angel skins unless otherwise specified.
One day I know I'll learn to spread my wings and I rise into the sky. And we'll be watching stars come out and soar across the canopy of night. Angels live to fly at night.
Angel Lily is an epic skin and will be unlockable from the ranked Star Drops.
When our hearts and souls unite, young hearts aren't meant to be alone within the dark of night.
Angel Jean is a super rare skin and is the cheapest Angels vs. Demons skin that we have. Light Angel Colt is an epic skin. He's a recolor from Dark Angel Colt, and his animations are the exact same. Bizarre Maisie will be the December Brawl Pass skin, and her color variations will be available if you buy the Brawl Pass Plus. Rude Lou is a mythic skin. Paper Cordelius is a legendary skin.
A shooting star flies across the night sky and my heart skips a beat. A gentle voice calling from afar that lifts me off my feet. One day I know I'll learn to spread my wings and I rise into the sky.
Be Less Ash is a super rare skin.
Stars come out and soar across the canopy of night. Angels live to fly at night. Everything's alright.
Sugar Plum Rosa is an epic skin and will be available from the ranked Star Drops in the December season.
Young hearts aren't meant to be alone within the dark of night. Young angels are meant to shine a light on the world.
Rusty Otis is a rare skin and does not have any unique animations. High Flyer Lola is a rare skin and does not have any unique animations. Sous Chef Ruffs is a rare skin and also does not have any unique animations. And those are all of these skins coming to the game, aside from the 2 skins for the 2 new brawlers coming to the game. I will be making a sneak peek for those 2 new brawlers, Juju and Shade, so make sure you subscribe right here and hit that notification bell so you do not miss it. You want to be the first to see them in action. And if you haven't seen the details on the trophy reset changes happening in this update, I highly recommend watching this right now because they're good and they're also important.